Today on Drawbli,
we are comparing my first digital drawings to my most recent.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
We are self-taught artists documenting our journey of learning to draw, which is of course better with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here and share your art on Instagram with #Drawbli.
Abby, tell me about your very first digital drawing. These are some of your very first pieces that you ever drew digitally?
Yeah.
So
they sure are.
Before this, you obviously have some drawing experience.
Yeah, obviously. Thank you for saying obviously, first of all. That is a nice compliment.
There's no way that is somebody's very first attempt at drawing.
No.
Absolutely not.
Definitely not my first attempt, but my first attempt in a while, maybe, because before we started Drawbli, I wasn't I always remember I used to describe myself as a lifelong doodler.
That is true, yeah.
I was never a serious, let me work really hard on this artist. This was just a culmination of a life spent enjoying practicing little bits of art here and there. You can see that I have always been, apparently, when it comes to digital art, somebody who is very muddy with my skin tone.
That is a thing that every beginner goes through.
Yeah, well, I'm still going through it.
I'm still going through it. Yeah, it's tough, but I think there's actually a very charming quality to these first pieces that you did that definitely still feel very Abby, which is something that I throw around from time to time when talking
I'm never
about your
quite
artwork.
sure how to take that.
No, it's a good thing. It's like your style, which is a culmination of many different things kind of coming through. So these are from the year 2020. Sometime in the middle of 2020 when I first bought this iPad.
Yeah, because you had just bought it. We had just started dating, I guess.
Yeah, actually late 2020. Because this was right after COVID happened, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn to draw.
No, it was, yeah.
And we were drawing together.
It was the spring of 2020, reaching into summer.
It might have been. We can look up the exact date.
Yeah, in the spring of 2020, reaching into summer.
Anyway.
I picked up your iPad. You were sculpting at the time, and I played around with Procreate. And so what I would have noticed at that moment was brushes. Oh, look at all these brushes.
So
and
fancy.
Some of them have different textures,
Wow.
and wow, I can just pick from different colors. That's cool. I would have noticed that. I wouldn't have really cared about many techniques and theories that are so important today.
No, you were just messing around, trying it out.
Literally just messing around, and I
think you were very successful for what I would call just messing around.
Thank you.
The colors that you're creating in those old pieces. I mean, you clearly had some kind of fundamental knowledge going on.
I'm glad that it feels that way.
But let's skip forward to the present time. It's now 2023, and we're looking at the piece that you're creating now. It's been a few years, and you weren't drawing consistently for that whole time. You didn't start drawing consistently until about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
That's when we started Drawbli in October of 2021. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's been a year and a half since then.
Yeah.
And you have improved, I don't know, a little.
I've definitely, my focuses have changed into trying to create things with a lot more solid dimensional appeal to them versus relying on the eye to fill in what's missing with a sketch. I'm trying to make sure it's all filled in with a drawing. So while these early works have, a little bit of charm to them in their little sketchiness where your eye can fill in all the missing details and scrub over all the mistakes, I'm trying to really cross that gap between letting a sketch let your brain fill in the missing pieces, and I'm trying to fill in the missing pieces a lot more myself.
Yeah.
So while there's still a long ways to go, I feel like I've done a lot to try to make my work more solid. It's not all see-through everywhere like it obviously is in these early works. It's
that actually was a thing that I remember a lot about early Drawbli. Whenever I would take any of your images and grab like the layer and I'd put a background color on it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a thumbnail from your artwork, which is so amazing. And I'd do that and I'd be like, oh, wow, the color of your skin just turned green.
Yeah, I had no concept of not using the background as a part of the creation process, which would probably make me a very good tattoo artist, don't you think?
Ooh.
Like using the natural skin tone as part of my value range.
Oh,
But that'd be fun. Anyway, off of that rabbit hole, that's something I've tried to learn. Obviously, you can see here I'm changing my background color a lot. That's an intentional thing to try to combat that and to try to see where I'm leaving big gaps and where I'm leaving things not see-through. Not that there aren't perfectly
thinking about
wonderful...
the negative space.
Always thinking about negative space. Negative
that.
space is something that was actually conveyed to me as a very... Well, negative space actually is a different thing. When you say negative space, I'm not thinking of background filling in the gaps. That means something different to me personally.
What does negative space mean to you, Abby?
It means the shapes that aren't there, basically.
That's
like,
what negative space is, yeah.
Oh, I thought we were talking about background color filling in
No, negative space
empty
is...
spaces.
Nope, negative space is exactly what you described.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I just got confused on our topic there. That happens a lot in our house where we'll both be talking about something very similar and realize we're off by just a little bit in what we are understanding.
No, and this is a classic example, maybe. But Abby, what you do actually is you just mishear what I say entirely.
It's mishearing.
And then you continue on an
you.
entire conversation about
I did
something
not
else.
mishear you this time, but
which
that
is-
happens a lot.
Which is always fun for me because I'll just let you go on for a while as you talk about...
My sister and I both do it at the same time with each other.
It's
like
fascinating
two
to
separate
watch.
conversations.
It's actually...
But we're still talking together.
It's like honestly...
And we have a great time.
It could be a comedy sketch. Like next time it happens, I should record it and...
It's a very
go
pleasant way to
viral.
live. I mean, when you assume the best of people, you assume that what they're saying is meant to be interesting and compelling, and therefore you're interested and compelled.
Wow.
Yes.
In making up your own conversation. as they
Yes.
say. That's
well,
amazing.
you know, life is what you make of it.
Conversation is what I wanted to do.
So what I have clearly not succeeded in here is reducing muddy skin tones.
No, you definitely have. There is a huge improvement in your brushwork. I mean, there's a huge improvement in all of your fundamentals over the past few years.
Definitely an improvement, but there's still so far to go, and I'm so excited to get there. You know, about a year from now, we'll be doing this video again with like a third artwork, and it'll be comparing these early ones with this one with something in the future as well, and I'm really excited for that. I'm also excited for this. This was very fun to create. There were a lot of very cool, fun, shiny elements. I love her lip gloss. I like her earrings. Her pieces in her hair were super fun to do. And of course, I kept coming back to her eyes. I didn't worry at all about proportions on this, trying to make the proportions match the reference at all, because I
Yeah.
was going in a Alo Primo style where I just painted onto the canvas without creating a line drawing first.
Yep.
And that's another difference, is becoming more comfortable with an Alo Primo.
Alla
Primo. Sorry.
Alla Prima?
Are you sure it's Prima? I thought it was Primo.
Nope.
Are you sure? Because I feel like the last video we talked about Alo Primo, everybody was like, it's Alo Prima. No, I can talk about this. And then I tried to put in a background because you had done one with your chain link fence the other day, and I was like, I want to do a rainy car window. I feel like that'd be
Ooh.
cool, like a city nightlife vibe.
And you're using watercolors?
I did not clinch it, not even
Oh,
slightly.
no.
I tried, and then it was really getting away from me, so I simplified it, and I was like, whatever, it's raining. That's a story, right?
Yeah.
And then I put a big black object in the foreground to give it more dimensionality.
I don't know. This background looks pretty cool.
I got away from me.
Oh,
It
now
got
you're just
away.
painting over it.
I
It
know.
was so cool.
It was. I should have left it the way it was, but I didn't. I was like, no, there's greater things out
You
there.
must have faith in your ability.
I had faith in my ability to persevere and get the next thing that was even better. But nonetheless, I gave her like this rainy background. And it didn't quite land, but I went for it. And then I was like, oh, now it looks like one of those days where the sun is shining, but it's also raining. Yeah.
Alo Primo in its entirety. I love it. I love that you're trying out a bunch of different things because that is how we learn.
Yeah.
We learn from failure. We don't learn from always succeeding. Obviously, that's not even possible.
Fail as fast as you can. Am I right?
Yes.
I'm great at parties.
Yeah.
Am I right?
This is such a cool piece, and it's actually super fun to look at this in comparison to, some of the first things that you ever digitally painted. It's night and day, but I will say that these still do have, for these old pieces that we looked at, they still have a quality that is enjoyable to look at.
Well, thank you. I actually enjoy looking at them as well. They have a much more delicate watercolor aspect to them, whereas this is clearly I'm trying to create something with a lot more form and feel and thickness. These are just simple little little watercolor sketches is how you could almost think of them. Mm-hmm.
And if you would like to see some more watercolor sketches, click that like and subscribe button.
Share your work on Instagram with #Drawbli because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say
goodbye.
Goomba.
I can't wait for a year from now when I'm sharing my next artwork alongside these.
It's gonna be out of this world.
Yeah, do you think I'll be too busy with my big, high professional, high profile artist job to do it?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be way too busy.